have something to read y'all that came up that was interesting. Look, at this point, you'll see messages talking about my hiatus ending in February, but technically it's over. Let's just face it, I ain't been able to take a hiatus because if it ain't one thing, it's another. And I did it to myself, so this year when I take a hiatus at the end of the year, I'm gonna have to go ahead and mean it this time. Still put a few videos out. Go read y'all this story. Now, before I do, it's time to get some shout out of the way. One shout out. It's telling Mr. Burns I'm going to push Lucy's channel more often. Lucy's World. She's hard to find because she used the two lips. If you just type her in as Lucy, she's not easy to find. She's in New York. She's Dominican, so she's a cook, and she does a lot of recipes on her channel, a mixture of her Dominican heritage along with American comfort food. So if y'all get a chance, go ahead, sub to Miss Lucy. All right, she has a lot to contribute, so go sub to her channel. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. The article is here on the screen. So, if you read in the title, you know I'm about to go with this. The article is short and it is as follows. The world's first city of the future is nearly ready to welcome its first residents. Developed by car maker Toyota, Toyota. That's important. Keep that in mind. Woven City sits at the base of Mount Fuji in Japan and features at least 11 smart homes powered by hydrogen, AI, and other technologies. CEO Akio Toyoda, Toyoda, said the $10 billion utopia would serve as a lab for innovators to develop the technologies of tomorrow. The city is poised to welcome its first 100 residents, which will be employees this fall who will live there for free. Though they'll need to already be Toyota employees and work on developing experimental tech for the company. The program will then expand to 2,200 more people, who will include innovators and their families, parents, and pets. Revealing the development at the Consumer Electronics Show, CES, in 2025 in Las Vegas, Nevada, Toyota unveiled some of the technologies that will be worked on in the city. Those will include drones that safely escort you home at night, interactive pet robots to assist the elderly, and robots to assist with everyday tasks. Autonomous driving will be among the many technologies we intend to develop at Woven City, Toyota said at CES. Among other things, we hope to use AI to help expand the reach of Woven City, allowing people to virtually interact with the city and its projects. In the pipeline is a flying self-driving robo-taxi made with Joby, Joby, that has completed more than 300 fully automated flights. The company is also working on a racing car that can drift autonomously. He said they were also planning to move residents, families, pets, and relations into the city. Woven City is more than just a place to work, live, work, and play, Toyota stated at CES. It's a living laboratory where the residents are willing participants, giving inventors the opportunity to freely test their ideas in a secure, real-life setting. Woven City is a place where people can invent and develop all kinds of new products and ideals. The city is now set to enter phase 2 of construction, which will add further buildings to prepare it to welcome new residents. The city's name, Woven City, is in reference to Toyota's start as a loom manufacturing company and is being built on a former Toyota factory outside Susono City, home to 50,000 people. And the first residents will be called weavers. The CEO told the assembled audience, "Do I expect Woven City will make any money? Perhaps not." But he added it could also be an incubator for the technologies of the future that could end up in every home. Revealing the progress in a press release, Toyota said, "Woven City is a test course for more mobility where inventors can develop, test, and validate innovative products and services." By leveraging Toyota's decades-long manufacturing expertise, Woven City offers a unique environment equipped with the tools and services needed to tackle societal challenges and create future-focused value. Toyota first revealed it was planning to build the city at CES in 2021 as the company shifts from a car maker to a mobility business. Okay. So I read the article. Before we start discussing the issues I found with it, you're going to hear some page turning because I'm going to go back and forth to certain statements. I know if you read into exactly what I said, you found some stranger than fiction stuff that's about to go down. Because all along I thought the Jetsons was something that was going to happen in the future when I was already long gone, whenever that's going to happen. But it seems like it's all going too fast and happening right now. I've said this before and I'll say it again before I break down what I find problematic about this article. Automation's common whether y'all like it or not. So if your feelings are hurt about that, now is the time to jump off this live. It is in the United States' best interest to automate, to keep up with what's going on in the world. Cleaner cities will be a reality. I've discussed this before in variation on this channel more than my backup channel, the Evergreen Wave. We've discussed this in lives on the Solomon Project, which I should have linked here, but I've linked him many times and I will in future videos with Mr. Richard Burns. I have no issue with the fact that we're going into an artificial intelligence world. I linked a story from Palki Sharma, a first post, showing just how fast this is moving that links to the 2030s. So if you haven't watched my video, my 2030 gloom and doom, you need to go back and watch that. That was made in 2024. I won't keep linking the video. I'm going to leave it up to you all to link, okay? Let's get into what I find problematic about this. So this article about this city near Fuji, Mount Fuji, which you know is the most iconic mountain, covered ice mountain in Japan. It's one of their biggest tourist attractions. Very beautiful mountain in a very clean country. I've been to Japan before. You don't just throw trash on the ground in Japan. So any of you who've been there know this. And again, I'll say one more thing. Toyoda, Toyoda, is the surname of the family that likely helped started the actual motor company Toyota, Toyota. Like Honda is also named after a family in Japan named Honda, except they kept their same spelling. Okay? If you and your family get to live in this city for free to invent things, how many of you besides me found it quite strange that the monetary value of your inventions was not mentioned in this article? So does this mean if you live in Toyota City, is what I'm going to call it, they call it Woven City, essentially you already have to work for Toyota? If you invent something, right, That means Toyota owns it by default. That is the price. In other words, that's the price you're going to pay to have free housing. They're also talking about bringing your parents and pets and children and your entire family. Does this mean that certain cities are going to be built for privileged classes of people based on perceived notions that these people are smart and have the capacity to invent things that would go to corporate companies? In other words, if you have highly intelligent parents with children living in this city and you teach them STEM things, will those children be indoctrinated to then give up their creative autonomy to this city? See, I read into things. Perhaps I'm somebody who connects entirely too many dots that I shouldn't connect. And the reason I bring up that it's in the United States' best interest to innovate, because I can see certain automotive companies in our country copying this model. Depending how successful it is in Japan, somebody will go, I'm like, y'all can't underestimate the United States. Why do you think come January 15th, there's about to be more strikes on the East Coast, are likely going to strike? I'll pray that it doesn't get out of hand. Automation is a scary thing because of what we don't talk about. Don't tell me you didn't catch these Jetson references and these scary references. And I'm going to read this sentence again. Woven City is more than just a place to live, work, and play, Toyota states at CES. So it sounds to me like Japan is experimenting with cities where you'll work, but your whole livelihood will depend on that job. Where will you go and where will your family go if Toyota decides to fire you? Or your inventions aren't successful because, let's face it, very few people get one patent, much less getting more than one patent for scientific innovation. Will they put a cap on patents, and will you have to sign away your patent because you're living in this city for free? Again, I connect dots that perhaps people should connect. And when you say woven city, see, the word woven scares me because what it implies is that your entire livelihood will be woven into this place. Will there be lockdown procedures, and what will those lockdown procedures consist of? $10 billion utopia. See, the word utopia scares me. And I hope when I first read this article, it scared you. Because on this planet, in order to achieve utopia, or the ideal of it and make it an actuality, you have to take away something from everybody, some sort of free will, in order to have your utopia. The program will then expand to 2,200 more people, who will include innovators and their families, parents, and pets. It didn't exactly say children to a degree, so I gotta take that back. Define families. Do you mean families who come across as having natural born geniuses? And how will families play into this? If they can bring their family, will their families be required to take a job within this city? What's also crazy is the company is also working on a racing car that can drift autonomously. Does that mean Formula One in Talladega and all these racing, the Indy 500? Does that mean that we're going to do these with automatic cars and put humans out of a job? Because if they can successfully do this in Japan, don't think it won't come to the United States. Been telling you about 2030. When you think things are not applicable to you, they are. This is why, in addition to starting my soap line and writing books, I'm also going to be taking AI courses this year. This is no joke. And that's from me being in special ed and struggling with things. Yes, I was a special ed student. So despite being good at history, I had those issues. They've been working on this since 2021. And this is how far they've gotten between 2021 and now. I knew that cat, she's gonna make noise, so just ignore her. So here's my question. If this is coming to a city near you, I want people right now listening to put in the comment section. Or in the chat, for that matter. What city you think it's coming to first. In the pipeline is a flying self-driving robo-taxi made with Joby that has completed more than 300 fully automated flights. They tested this thing 300 times. What they failed to tell you is how many of these flights were successful and how many failed. So which one would scare you the most? The amount that failed or the amount that succeeded? 300 between the time they thought this up in 2021 to 2025 is significant. We're living the Jetsons, folks. And I've been telling y'all about this 2030. And particularly if you're on the poor end or you come from a disadvantaged group in the United States, you're about to be left behind. This is moving faster than we thought it would. Okay? The city's now set to enter phase 2 construction, meaning they're already past the first phase, which will add further buildings to prepare it to welcome new residents. By leveraging Toyota's decades-long manufacturing expertise, Woven City offers a unique environment equipped with the tools and services needed to tackle societal challenges and create future-focused value. And what exactly is that value? They're telling you that your value added is going to be tethered to what you can contribute to society. And to be honest with you, that part I don't have a problem with. And I'm gonna mention thieving, and you would say, Tara, what does that have to do with anything? Why do you think they sit here and let y'all steal? And been letting you get by with it, knowing cameras are everywhere, even if they're not catching you right now. Because Japan, for example, it has set the example for technology for decades. Why you think they letting y'all get by with all this stuff in the United States? If we follow the Japanese model, and trust me, we'll get flying cars. I've already seen some where I think a father and daughter has already successfully tested one a few times here in the United States, and they haven't had any accidents yet. I wish I'd saved that video. It's already here, y'all. Just not in large numbers. When they say create future-focused value, that means your value is going to be tangible to what you can give society. That's the one thing I don't have an issue with. Because your value should be based on what you do. If you're a thief, you're not valuable. Which means that they're going to make sure when they say families and pets that your whole line is based on the value you give, which means your family name, and I actually don't have a problem with this, is going to be based on your reputation and what you give. What I don't like is that it does not address what happens when companies can fire you. And see, when this comes to the United States, because it's not an if, it's a when. Most states here are at will employment. So if this city is dependent on what you can contribute to it, what happens when you get fired and they decide that your firing is a disgrace and you get kicked out? Where will you go? Because it makes me think of the master planned communities that they're currently building in the United States, right underneath y'all who aren't paying attention. Smart homes powered by hydrogen, AI, and other technologies, which means your house will start to do things for you. That's what I take powered to mean. It's a living laboratory where the residents are willing participants, giving inventors the opportunity to freely test their ideas in a secure, real life setting. See, that's bothersome to me too. Because for this to be built, that means that someone was willing to give up their inventions to a company that could fire them. I want you to think about this in the American lexicon right now, in the and how it's going to fit into an American society where you can be fired because at will employment is the reality here. How does this fit into the United States where at will employment is still on the books and there is no sign of it slowing down anytime soon? It explains why they want some people to come back from telework, and they want you in a city where they can control your creativity, where they can control you and your family's movements. Don't think this won't happen. Now, I'm not referring to Japan itself, but American automobile makers won't sit back on this. You think, oh, that can't happen in the United States. It can. So, in the comments and in the chat, tell me what y'all think. To me, the only thing I can see from that is the thing that I told you I don't have a problem with, that the fact that that we're creating a future focused value, because as a productive member of society, you should add to society. There should be some value added. I completely agree with that. The rest of it, no. It's control, in my opinion. But the thing about it is, they're telling you if you want to be a part of a clean city, you're going to have to contribute. And this is why I say they let people steal things but don't lock them up, because they're going to have such a long rap sheet on you. You ain't going to be able to step into this beautiful new future, even if it's not dystopian at first. You're going to hang out in the outskirts while everyone else elevates. They're not playing with y'all out here. All right, I want to thank y'all so much for stopping by, listening to this. I put this together last minute because when I started to read this on the 7th of January, it kind of freaked me out. Tell me what y'all think. Let's talk about it. Peace.